be so pleased and so honored to hear this next speaker, because she is someone that I have been a quiet admirer of hers for a minute. She has definitely given me insight into some of the things that I need to do, both fiscally. She's working with me on an international project, and she is definitely a venture capitalist that knows her stuff. So without further ado, I introduce to you Her Excellency, thank you. Okay, yes, Her Excellency, the Right Honorable Yvonne E. Gamble. She is CEO of Sanpete Financial Group, and she's venture capital innovations from Atlanta, Georgia. Honorable Gamble is a venture capitalist and the CEO of Sanpete Financial Group, venture capital firm specializing in infrastructure development, senior partner of Platform Capital Group, Accelerator Hub, founder of Simplified Knowledge Institute, which is a think tank, and founder of PPE supplier MobiMed, which is, of course, a PPE and COVID-19 solution provider. She is the founder of T-Minus Space Development and T-Minus Real Estate Development, a space exploration manufacturer and real estate modulator factory and land developer. Founder of Eli Bond Publishing House, publisher, ambassador of United States Country Director, Lifesavers Ambassador International United States, and executive director of Women Leading Change Now, political advocacy. Honorable Gamble has a few books that I'd like to mention. She is Facing Your Next Billion. I love the title of that. I'm going to judge that book by its cover. Why Do We Communicate? Getting Unstuck in Translation. Her next one is 64 Big Proverbial Reasons Why We Communicate. I love that one. And her last one is Growing Your Business During Recession, which is something we all could have used in these last 2.5 years. This book guides us and helps us determine our business and communications net effectiveness on world societies. And last but not least, I appreciate the fact that she has come on today and she's going to be speaking in those terms. Honorable Gamble, you can, you did unmute your mic. The floor is yours. Thank you so very much for your time and coming on today. Oh, I love the background. God bless you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you so much for those kind words. I would also like to thank Her Excellency, Dr. Amina and FIGHR for extending the invitation to me to be the keynote speaker for this next installment. This is a magnanimous woman, you know, as it has been said here. And I don't know how much more I could add to that, but I have been also very quietly following her. And so this is someone that I trust in. I'm going to share with you here in my next few moments. So this is the time to sit up and take note and to really understand how to be in business, in the business that you're in. You have so many leadership people here who are your mentors. You have ambassadors. These are the people who would help guide you and to lead you. This is your team, graduates. You need to have a very strong team. You need that 10,000 at your front. You need that 10,000 to your left, that 10,000 to your right, that 10,000 to your back. The leadership here with FIGHR has given you exactly that. I can see it. I can just see the love that they have poured into you, and I know of the connections that they have. So you have that. So I just want you to understand that the work begins now with each one of you. I'm going to put before you 2 questions, the World Bank's action plan and a template that would help you develop your moonshot eradication plan against gender-based violence. You will need these 4 tools to ponder, to research, to collaborate on, to develop collaborations, and to put in motions clear, actionable protocols that bring about true change of sexual and gender-based violence. No longer can we sit by and simply accept talk, reports, assessment, looking at the problem, monitoring the problem. Now it's time to eradicate the problem. You change your lexicon, you change the narrative, you change the outcome. Question number 1. When institutions such as the World Bank commit 19 plus years and spending 300 million plus in gender strategies, how do they recoup their investment if their investment rationale becomes no longer valid? Listen carefully to that question. I'm going to give you some background on investing. I've been in this investment arena since 1976. You can do the math. When an investment is made, there is always a return on an investment that is anticipated and expected. How you derive that return is generally on the continuation and the growth of the service, the product, or the issue that you invested in. I want you to think very carefully on that. 300 million plus in dedicating 19 years to that. Question number 2. A US study between 2011 and 16, it talked about the lifetime economic burden of rape of about 25 million adults. Said it costs $4 trillion. This is between 2011 and 2016. This $4 trillion was spent on medical costs, work productivity, reimbursements, criminal justice activities, properties foreclosures or damage. And the study concluded, here's a direct quote, preventing sexual violence could avoid substantial costs for victims, perpetrators, and healthcare payers, employers, and government payers. These findings can inform evaluations of interventions to reduce sexual violence. So here's the direct question. Will the US economy be benefited or suffered by the reduction or elimination of sexual and gender-based violence? Let me give you a little bit of background on a balanced economy. This is when governments, how they balance their economies. This is how communities, states, provinces balance their economies. When you reduce or eliminate in one category, you must increase in another category to maintain a balanced economy. The bigger issue becomes, how do you increase the economy while reducing sexual and gender-based violence? That is truly the path to eliminating sexual and gender-based violence. You have to be aware of the systems. These things that are happening, morality, yes, has diminished, but it is the systems that keep them going. If it was simply the morality, the code of conduct, and the ethics, the problem would have been eradicated millennia ago. But the systems that are in place, these are also the most important areas that have to be changed. The systems within your governances that keep these going, the balances within the economies of these governments, of these countries, of these places, of the people, they have to be changed in order to eradicate sexual and gender-based violence. The World Bank's action plan announced on November 2017 that it had released a full body plan that outlined administrative operational measures that was going to help prevent and respond appropriately to incidences of sexual exploitation and abuse, as well as other forms of gender-based violence. Well, in summary, This highly funded plan simply continues assessing, sending out mandates, talking, informing client partners, investors who do expect a return on their investment. And the only way they're going to get it is, as we mentioned before, the continuation of that issue. And they also set out how the budget is going to be spent on the task force, not how the budget is going to be spent on the actual issues themselves, but how they're going to spend the budget on the task force who's actually assessing, sending out information, talking to the people. So no plan of eradication is addressed in that 300 million plus 19-year commitment. When you look at these, and the ambassador who spoke before me, thank you so much for his kind introduction. He spoke to you, telling you that you have to have a plan, and he outlined 10 points. You have to have a plan of action, and you have to be able to execute upon that plan. The previous ambassador that spoke before him, Dr. Lissette, she talked about how if you don't have a plan, and if you are not strong enough to carry that plan forward, you're not daring enough to carry that plan forward, you simply will continue the assessment, the talk, the investment, and the investors will continue to receive their return on their investment because the problem will just simply continue. That's what we have to stop. We have to stop this where it actually exists. What I would give to you is this: create a 5-year moonshot plan. Many of you will recognize the moonshot plan from the SpaceX program, and even with what our current president had set the moonshot plan in, just to eradicate cancer. And basically with the moonshot plan, that says, if I shoot for the moon, I will get what I need. Everything else between here and the moon will be covered. What moonshot plans do is they change the analytics, they change the narratives, and it changes the outcomes. I'm going to give you, and I'm going to leave you with 3 benefits of how you actually arrive at a moonshot mindset. The day before something is a breakthrough, it's a crazy idea. With that mindset, you give yourself permission to pursue your crazy ideas. The crazy idea that I'm giving you today, and that is that we together can eradicate gender-based violence, be that sexual, be that the spoken word, be that just simply in the way it's acted, be that coming from our governments. We can get rid of all of that. We can eradicate it. That's the crazy idea. And if you think it can't be done, think about the time before we actually put a man on the moon. Think about the time before we actually had civilians going up into space. Think about the time before, when there were no cars, when there was no internet. We're able to communicate one with the other. We're talking to one another around the world, and we're talking and we can see one another. There was a time before, if you brought someone here from the 12th century and they saw us doing what is today a normal activity, what would they think of us? Wow, they're gods. That's magic. And all we know is technology, and we're hoping we can keep our connection on the internet. To us, it's commonplace. Number 2, you must be willing to take whatever is necessary. Malcolm X said, do whatever is necessary to do, whatever it takes to transform industries, to transform society for the better. You have to recognize that with that moonshot mindset, you become a super innovator. You become that person who will not stop. Just as the ambassadors before me, you have said to you, they are there to help you. I am here to help you with all of these efforts. But you have got to stand up and don't simply take no for an answer. Do not, never take no for an answer. Go until the goal is met. Never go. The sun does not set until the goal is met. Remember that. The sun does not set until the goal is met. You must create a billion-person challenge. FIGHR has lit a fire under this issue. I see more information than I've ever seen my entire life on the issue of gender-based violence. I see more people coming to this effort. You need to keep that. You were just given a roadmap that says you can download information and put it out there. Make this an everyday conversation. Just as you get up in the morning and you check your Facebook, you check your LinkedIn. We want to check our gender-based violence app. We need an app for that. If we don't have an app for that, we need to rally around and get FIGHR an app for that, so that if something is happening to someone, they can quickly dial a number. I worked on 911 before there was a 911, developing those caveats, developing what actually goes into create that 911 system that did not exist when I was a little girl. It exists today, but it didn't exist. It was a crazy idea to think of that you could tie police departments together and have one central location. That was totally unheard of, unfathomable. Now you can't even imagine what life would be without it. The same thing can be on that app, so that everyone around the world knows if they dial this number, somebody's going to be there to help them. That's that billion-person challenge that you create. That's what you can do. So in closing, I'm going to leave you with two things. Number one, how much more could you achieve if you had a moonshot mindset towards eradicating sexual and gender-based violence? What can you do in the next day, within the next 24 hours, to make progress towards eradicating gender-based violence? I'm glad you asked. Here's what you can do. This is number two. My challenge to each of you is to send your leadership your list of 5 things that you can do to make progress towards the goal of eradicating sexual and gender-based violence. Blessings upon you, graduates. Go out and be bold in everything you do. The sun does not set until the goal is met. Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. Amina Ali, and the Federation of International Gender and Human Rights for allowing me to be the keynote speaker for your 2022 graduating class.
Wow. It is an absolute honor. It is an absolute privilege. I can attest. Even Queen Mother is sitting there smiling. You see her? When she's happy, the world is happy. I'm telling you, I cannot thank you enough, Your Excellency, for that. And thank you so very much for gracing us with that information, because some of us, like myself, you saw my pencil, I had to click some more lead because it was running out. I definitely took some notes, and I'm definitely on fire with that. And to answer your question, the app is coming. Queen Mother can vouch for that. The app is coming. And yes, if we can get some insight with you as to what needs to be, we would definitely sit down with you at another time. And there would be an honorarium even offered to be able to get this off the ground, because the sister that has it is fully functional, fully aware, and fully vetted. But to have that extra piece that you talked about today, I know it would just skyrocket. It would be that moonshot deal. And I know that it will be carried forth, and we will probably be the first and only with a gender and human rights app. So it will definitely corner the market and will allow people to be vicing us in that 911 mindset that you talked about. So I thank you for that knowledge, and I want to commend you for confirming that the app is right on time. Queen Mother and I and Dr. Lomax was in a meeting with the developer just recently, and she is going to launch that this year. So we definitely want to be in a great community with you to be able to give that. So thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you to all of our speakers. Thank you.